I can do it since the other devotees can join in then. Okay. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishaka Vitamsya He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Shabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhaiva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, everybody. Thank you for joining in. Hare Krishna, Panchali Mataji. Thank you for making yourself available at this odd time from India. Please accept our humble obeisances and danvats from all who have joined the group and are about to join. Mataji, we are reading the Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on Canto 2, Chapter 4. Chapter 4 is the process of creation. And the text for today, Mataji, is text 23. So I hand over to you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you very much, and Dandavat pranams to all of you for giving me the opportunity to serve Srimad Bhagavatam, serve the Lordship, serve my Guru, and serve all of you. And I start the discussion with all your blessings and the mercies of Guru and Gauranga. So we are, and if I do make any mistakes, please do correct me. So we are doing Mataji, as you said, Srimad Bhagavatam 1.4.23. Okay. So I'll just start. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayamudirai. Nashtaprasya Bhatreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Ruttamat Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtaki. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. So I read the text, and then we'll start with it. So Srimad Bhagavatam 2.4.23. Bhutar Mahatvirya Ima Puro Vibhur Nirmaya Shaitayat Amushu Purushaha Bhunte Gunan Sodasha Sodashatmakaha Solang Krishista Bhagavan Vacham Sime. I do apologize again for my really bad Sanskrit pronunciation. Apologies. Translation. May the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who enlivens the materially created bodies of the elements by lying down within the universe, and who in his Purusha incarnation causes the living being to be subjected to the 16 divisions of material modes, which are his generator, be pleased to decorate my statements. The Purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. As a fully dependent devotee, Sukdev Goswami, unlike a mundane man who is proud of his own capability, invokes the pleasure of the personality of Godhead so that his statements may be successful and be appreciated by the hearers. The devotee always thinks of himself as instrumental for anything successfully carried out, and he declines to take credit for anything done by himself. The godless atheist wants to take all credit for activities, not knowing that even a blade of grass cannot move without the sanction of the Supreme Spirit, the personality of Godhead. Shukdev Goswami therefore wants to move by the direction of the Supreme Lord, who inspired Brahma to speak the Vedic wisdom. The truths described in the Vedic literatures are not theories of mundane imagination, nor are they fictitious, as the less intelligent class of men sometimes think. The Vedic truths are all perfect descriptions of the factual truth, without any mistake or illusion. And Shukdev Goswami wants to present the truths of creation not as a metaphysical theory of philosophical speculation, but as the actual facts and figures of the subject, since he would be dictated to by the Lord exactly in the same manner as Brahmaji was inspired. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita 15.15, the Lord is himself the father of the Vedanta knowledge, and it is he only who knows the factual purport of the Vedanta philosophy. So there is no greater truth than the principles of religion mentioned in the Vedas. Such Vedic knowledge or religion is disseminated by authorities like Shukdev Goswami, because he is a humble devotional servitor of the Lord, who has no desire to become a self-appointed interpreter without authority. That is the way of explaining the Vedic knowledge, technically known as the Parampara system or descending process. The intelligent man can see without mistake that any material creation, whether one's own body or a fruit or flower, cannot beautifully grow up without the spiritual touch. The greatest intelligent man of the world or the greatest man of science can present everything very beautifully only in so far as the spirit life is there, or in so much as the spiritual touch is there. Therefore, the source of all truths is the Supreme Spirit and not gross matter, as wrongly conceived by the gross materialist. We get information from the Vedic literature that the Lord himself first entered the vacuum of the material universe, and thus all things gradually developed one after another. Similarly, the Lord is situated as localized Paramatma in every individual being. Hence, everything is done by him very beautifully. Excuse me. The 16 principal creative elements, namely earth, water, fire, air, and sky, and the 11 sense organs first developed from the Lord himself. They always come in threes, don't they?
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you, Manji. So I think I've still got one to go. Thus, the material elements were created for the enjoyment of the living entities. The beautiful arrangement behind all material manifestations is therefore made possible by the energy of the Lord, and the individual living entity can only pray to the Lord to understand it properly. Since the Lord is the supreme entity, different from Shukdev Goswami, the prayer can be offered to him. The Lord helps the living entity to enjoy material creation, but he is aloof from such false enjoyment. Shukdev prays for the mercy of the Lord, not only for being helped personally in presenting the truth, but also for helping others to whom he would like to speak. Hare Krishna. So thank you again, Matajis and Prabhjis, for allowing me to discuss this beautiful purport, a beautiful verse. So in this verse, as we have seen in the last chapter, Parikshit Maharaj knows a lot about, he was told, he saw the Virat Room, told about the Virat Room. He gets to know a bit more about the Lord, which raises inquisitiveness in him more. And by the end of the chapter, we see Parikshit Maharaj asking Shukdev Goswami to tell him more and more about the Lord so that he can understand the Lord better and he can know more about the truth of the absolute, of the Creator. Before Shukdev Goswami answers the question or the questions of Maharaj Parikshit, he glorifies the Lord. And in the last few verses, we have seen how Shukdev Goswami has glorified the Lord in so many different ways, in talking about what he does and what he's and the fact that he is Sarva Karana Karanam, he's the cause of all causes, as Lord Brahma says. And why does Shukdev Goswami offer such prayers like any other devotee, great devotees, as we have seen in the Bhagavatam so far, and we will be seeing in the Bhagavatam later on as well? They glorify the Lord so that they are empowered by the Lord with his mercy to be able to glorify the Lord better, to be able to share about the Lord to others, and to be able to make others be attracted towards the Lord so that they can connect with the Lord in the way so that they can go back to Godhead. And this is what we were talking about the other day as well, connecting with the Lord. So again, in all his prayers, in the prayers that Shukdev Goswami is doing or offering to the Lord, glorifying him, the connection again remains to connect with the Lord. And to connect with the Lord, as we discussed last time, is nothing but to love God in any different way, in any form, whether it's kirtan, shravanam, or worshipping the deity in any way. It is just connecting, even doing charity directly or indirectly. It is just connecting to the Lord. So the verse starts again with talking about how to connect with the Lord, but then it further expands into a few other things as well. And in this verse, apart from the main underlying note of loving God and bhakti and connecting with God, Shukdev Goswami is also trying to glorify the Lord by saying who really is God. Okay, why am I glorifying him, and who is this God? Okay, and then what does this God do for us? We are glorifying, I'm glorifying him, and there is a reason for it, and what this Lord, and to what lens this God has gone for us, for his, for the jivas, for all creation, because he's the father to all of us. And in describing these three main things, In the purport, Prabhupada further touches upon a few extra points. He touches upon the true nature of a true devotee versus atheists versus non-devotees. He touches upon how Shukdev Goswami is actually a true devotee and why only he is so capable of glorifying the Lord in this way, and he's so much the perfect person to be able to talk about the Lord to Parikshit Maharaj, and the perfect person to be able to answer the questions that Parikshit Maharaj has asked him about the Lord. Prabhupada also touches a bit about the accuracy of the Vedas and why the Vedas should be taken as the absolute truth. Lastly, Sukdev Goswami's prayers again, asking for the mercy of the Lord so that he's able to reach out and talk about the Lord in the way that the Lord should be talked about. So these are some of the points in the verse and the purport, and we will touch upon each of them briefly. We start with the connection, as we said. So that is the connecting thread of glorifying the Lord, and glorifying the Lord meaning. Sorry, there's background noise. I think I'm not sure if you can hear it. Okay, sorry. On how to love the Lord and how to glorify the Lord. Now, I was talking earlier in the class today. I was just, we were doing another session, and I was talking about Mirabai, and I was talking about the Ram Mandir and the Ram Lala, who was brought to the Ayodhya temple very recently. And we also saw a grand ceremony where the Lord was invoked. So there was Pran Pratishta ceremony, and mantras were spoken by qualified priests to bring the Lord, to invite the Lord to come and be in that deity, so that there is no difference between the Lord and the deity. And the deity is no other but an incarnation of the Lord. So we were talking about that. We were also talking about Mirabai. So Mirabai was given her Gopal, her Krishna, when she was very little. Now that she didn't see any difference between the Krishna given to her and the real Krishna. So she, as a baby, as a child, even as an adolescent or as a grown-up, she did not say any mantras to bring the Lord into that deity, but it is the path. So her connection with the deity, with the Lord, with Krishna, was through the path, through the feelings of love. And though that is the feeling of love that the Lord wants, and that is the feeling of love that truly connects us to the Lord. And that is the feeling of Lord, with that love, how we should speak about the Lord. So Sukdev Goswami, right at the beginning, is saying that I glorify to that Lord, where I can connect that Lord, not just by saying about the Lord, not just by talking about him, but feeling about him, feeling about the true God and what he has done for us and how much he loves us. And please, may I pray to the Lord so that he gives me that intelligence, he gives me that understanding, and he showers me with that mercy so that I can love the Lord in such a way as he loves me, with such a feeling as he loves us, so that I can accurately say the words and the right words come out of my mouth so that I can answer Parikshit Maharaj. So the connection through the heart, through the feelings is very, very important. And Sukdev Goswami once again in this verse establishes that right at the beginning. And then he says, who is this Lord? Why, how do we define this Lord? So we know in Bhagavad Gita in verse 7.19, it says that Vasudeva Sarvam Iti, or the absolute vision, is the personality of Godhead. So that is who God is, the absolute vision. And, there is no other way. If there is, he's the creator, he's everything. We all come from him. Lord Brahma says in the Brahma Samhita that Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadi Radhi Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. So Ishvara Parama Krishna, he's the supreme Sachidananda Vigraha. He's the absolute of knowledge, bliss, and eternity. And he's Anadi Radhi. He's eternal. There is no beginning, no end to that Lord. And he's the cause of all causes. So we learn from the verse, learn from the Shastras, learn from, the Lord Brahma, we learn from our Acharyas, our Gurus, that's the Lord, that Krishna is everything. He is the Lord. And in this verse further, we will talk about it in a minute. Shukdev Goswami also talks about the Purusha avatars of the Lord, Karnadaksha Vishnu, the Garbhadaksha Vishnu, and Shiradaksha Vishnu. So that's it. So from the Shastras, from the Vedas, we understand that the Lord is the absolute, and there is no one above him or beyond him, and everything comes from him. But then you go to Mother Yashoda, and yesterday Mataji was talking about how Vyasdeva called Sukdev Goswami as Putra, and with so much feeling. So you go to Mother Yashoda, and if you ask Mother Yashoda that, your son Krishna, he is God. And this was a pastime that, I was listening to a class by Amarendra Prabhu, and he was explaining this in a very, very nice way. And he says, you go to Mother Yashoda and you tell him that, you tell her that your son Krishna is the God. And Mother Yashoda would say, don't make him a joint account. My son is not a joint account. If you say God means God is for everybody. Your God, my God, somebody who looks after everybody. But Krishna is not a joint account. Krishna is Mora Putra, my son only. That is who Krishna is. So if you ask the definition of God to Mother Yashoda, that is Mora Putra, my son only. But if you ask Krishna, who is Krishna, to in the Shastras, Krishna is the absolute. So who do you understand? So we understand what Shukdev Goswami is saying, and he further clarifies, and Prabhupada further clarifies in the purport as well, is that yes, we have to understand, we have to, identify that what the Vedas tell us, what the Shastras tell us about Krishna being the absolute is the absolute truth. He is Sarva Karana Karanam, the cause of all causes. But yet, how do we love him? We love him as Mora Putra, or Mora, my lover, my son, my daughter, or my friend, or, my master. We love him in a personal way. So there are two sides to that we have to remember when we are serving the Lord, or when we are glorifying the Lord. We have to remember both of that. And Sukdev Goswami prays that he's able to remember the Lord in both these ways, so that he's able to say, glorify the Lord as he is in the true, and how big he is, and how absolute he is, but also how very, very personal he is, and that relationship of very, very personal love between him and the jivas. So this is touched upon. So, and then it is mentioned a bit more about what is the nature of a true devotee? And how is Shukdev Goswami able to feel all these feelings? How is Shukdev Goswami able to glorify the Lord in such a way and pray in such a way so that he gets all the right words? So why can't anybody else say a prayer like Shukdev Goswami is saying a prayer? And why can't anybody else ask for the same things from the Lord as Shukdev Goswami is asking? And then we identify, as Prabhupada mentions in the purport, that Shukdev Goswami is a true devotee, and that is the reason he's able to say all the right things, not just about Krishna, but even when praying to Krishna, asking for mercy from Krishna. And in the purport, there's a very, very nice way in which there is a distinction made between devotees and the non-devotees. So a devotee, a true devotee, is very, very humble. A devotee never thinks that he is the reason for something successful to happen. So say, for example, when Prabhupada goes to the West, he had nothing with him. He prays on Jaladuta, the ship, the cargo ship. He was praying to the Lord that I have nothing, Lord. Krishna, I don't have anything. I don't have money. I don't have much knowledge. I don't even know the language very well. I'm going into a completely different country. But my guru has told me to engage people, people of all ages, and we see how Prabhupada engages very young Americans. I have no idea, Krishna, how I'm going to do that. But whatever I am able to do, I will be able to do that only if you sanction it, only through your mercy. So we see how Prabhupada prays to the Lord, just as Shukdev Goswami is praying, that whatever I'm going to say, whatever I'm going to do, that is only going to be because of you, Lord, because of you, Krishna. So a true devotee is very, very humble, as we see in Shishikshashtakam, in the third verse, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu describes how, does anyone remember the third verse of Shishikshashtakam? Trinadapi Sunichena, Tarurapi Shahisnuna, Amanina Manadina, Kirtaniya Sadahari. Or you be as humble as a blade of grass, humbler than a blade of grass. So when you trample upon a blade of grass, it doesn't make a sound, but as soon as you trample it, you walk over it, you pass, and it still goes up again, because and without any complaint. You take shelter. Tarurapi Shahisnuna, you're as forbearing as a tree, which gives you shelter year after year. But the tree itself is it has to weather the rough weathers. But it gives shelter to people without any complaints. And these are the kind of people, if you are humble as such people, only then are you able to be a true devotee of the Lord. Only then are you able to chant the Lord's name. So very truly, that is what Shukdev Goswami is doing. He's glorifying the Lord in a very, very humble way. And the other thing that is pointed out in the verse is that a true devotee never ever thinks that he or she is the reason for any kind of success. So if Prabhupada was able to start the big ISKCON movement, never once did he think that I am the reason that all this happened. As Radhanath Swami was saying Ramnath Swami Maharaj was saying in one of his teachings that, when we do our prayers, we say, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru and Gauranga, all glories to assembled devotees. And the person who prays these prayers, it gives the glories to somebody else. So he or she himself is praying, but he or she himself completely diverts the attention from themselves to the others, to Srila Prabhupada, to Guru and Gauranga, to the other devotees. Why? Because to become a true devotee, one must never ever think that he or that I am the reason that something is happening. I am the reason that, I am saying the prayers, so I am important. I am doing a class, or I am, doing charity, or I am doing something. That it does not make one a true devotee. A true devotee is someone who always thinks that he is a medium. He's just a medium to be able to do a greater piece of work. So similarly, Shukdev Goswami thinks he's just a medium. These questions have been asked to him by Parikshit Maharaj, and the Lord has made him a medium so that he's able to glorify the Lord to Maharaj Parikshit. And he's praying to the Lord that please help me so that I can glorify you properly. Just like you see in Ramayana as well, we see Lord Ram, he tells Sugriva to go and fight with Vali, his brother, and then Sugriva goes and fights with Vali, and then Lord Ram kills Vali. So the killing was done by Lord Ram, but he uses Sugriv to go and fight and then, instigate the whole thing, and makes him a medium. So similarly, we see in Mahabharata where Krishna tells Arjun, all the fate of all the soldiers in this battlefield, the fate of everybody in this battlefield has already been made by me. Their fate is it is all done. But just fight, because you are just the medium. You are just the medium to bring an end, to start and bring an end to what has already been decided by me, what has already been allocated, or assigned, allocated, designed, and done by me. So you are just the medium, so just do it. So similarly, when we are praying to the Lord, when we want to glorify the Lord, we have to understand, as Sukdev Goswami is teaching us, we have to understand that it is not in our credit, and that we are not at all responsible to be sitting over here discussing the Lord. We are not at all, qualified or responsible to be, and I can only speak for myself, that, we are able to speak about the Lord, or we are able to listen or hear about the Lord, or do or serve the Lord. We are just mediums, and we are extremely fortunate and extremely lucky that the Lord and the Lordships, they have showered their mercies on us, that we have the blessings of Radharani, so that and Lord Shri Krishna, that we are able to serve their Lordships in this little way. And we are just the medium that they are using because of a greater good, which they have already decided. So this is the first point that that the purport talks about. How the true devotees are very, very humble, whereas an atheist or non-devotee, they are very much full of pride, and they think they are just responsible for everything. And you see in the Bhagavad Gita in the 13th chapter again, Krishna defines who a true devotee is, a person with knowledge is. And again, relating that to Sukdev Goswami in the Purport, as we see, that a person with knowledge, the first quality is Amanitvam, and the next quality is Adam Vitvam. Amanitvam, humility. Adam Vitvam, freedom from hypocrisy. And people who are true devotees, people with true knowledge, definitely has these qualities. They are free, they are full of humility, and they are free from any kind of hypocrisy. So whilst praying, Sukdev Goswami prays to the Lord that he is he's given these qualities so that he can talk about the Lord in a proper way. And then we concentrate. We are talked about the truth and the value of the Vedas. So Sukdev Goswami, Prabhupada in the first verse establishes as to why Sukdev Goswami is a true devotee and why he's the perfect person to be able to talk about Lord Krishna to Maharaj Parikshit. The second verse of the Purport talks about what Sukdev Goswami talks about in the verse about who is the Lord, about the Vedas, talking about the Lord and the importance of the Vedas, and the accuracy of the verses of the words in the Vedas. So we are told and reminded again that the Vedic truth is the absolute truth, and it's not a fiction. These are not metaphysical theories, and what is written in the Vedas they are not illusions. So the knowledge that Sukdev Goswami is praying for, the knowledge that he wants to impart to Maharaj Parikshit and all the others who were seated around Maharaj Parikshit, that knowledge comes directly from the Vedas. And what are the Vedas? What is knowledge? The Vedas is the absolute truth. It is not myth. It's not a mythology, as many people mistakenly talk about. That these are all in Hindu mythologies, but they are not. They are histories, they are itihas, they are, the Mahabharata and the Ramayana, they are itihas, and the Vedas are true scriptures. And the Vedas, they are not, they are the knowledge from the Lord himself. And in the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says in the 15th chapter, again in 15:15, the Lord says that he's the father of the Vedanta knowledge, and he's the only one who knows the whole truth. And we learn about him from the Vedas. So he disseminates these knowledge, that's the knowledge, that the absolute truth, he disseminates that knowledge through his pure devotees. And that is the essence of the Vedas. The essence of the Vedas is true knowledge, and the knowledge only lies with the Lord, and the Lord disseminates it through his true devotees. So once Srila Prabhupada was meeting a group of Vedantists, scholars of Vedas, and they were discussing about various topics, and then Prabhupada asked them, so who according to you is God? Who is God? And all of them said, Prabhupada, it's so very difficult. We are scholars in the Vedas, but we won't be able to define who God is. Only God can define himself. And another person said, even God can't define himself because he's unlimited. He's always evolving, as we learned about in the previous canto. There is no end to him. and even to understand the love his devotees has for him. He has to come to, he had to come as Mahaprabhu just to understand how much Radharani loves him. So even God can't define him, and you're asking us who God is. So then, there's this small girl Saraswati, who was the 3-year-old daughter of one of Prabhupada's devotees. She was passing, and Prabhupada asked Saraswati, who is God? Do you know who God is? And Saraswati said, yes, God is Krishna. And Prabhupada says, that's true, that's right. And he tells the Vedantas that, look, you've all studied Krishna, the Vedas. We've all heard about so much about the Lord from the Vedas, but we are not able to define God. And yet, this little girl was within a second was able to say who God is. And God is nobody but Krishna, because there can be only one God. So God and Krishna, the names are interchangeable, because there cannot be any other supreme personality of Godhead. And if we talk about the supreme personality of Godhead, that is only Krishna. So when you say who is God, who is the absolute truth, it is Krishna, which little Saraswati was saying. So we see how we are being told how to perceive God, how to understand God. When we learn about God from the Vedas, we learn about the opulence of Krishna. Oh, Krishna can do, he's the creator. We all come from him. We are part and parcel of Krishna. We all come from him. Nothing exists without him. Everything would be empty, or nothing would really be of any existence or of any meaning had it not been for the sanction of the Lord. And yet, so when we learn about, the facts given in the Vedas, we learn about the various opulence, or the unlimited opulence, or Aishwarya of the Lord. But to know the real Lord, you ask a devotee, because the devotee tells you the person God, the person Krishna, not just the opulence of Krishna. And that is how we need to connect to Krishna. That is how we need to talk about Krishna. And that is what Sukadeva Goswami say. When I talk about you, God, yes, I would have to talk about the truth about you. Your opulence is the greatness of the God, which is all very truly mentioned in the Vedas. And just as that truth was revealed to Lord Brahma by yourself, O Krishna, just as you revealed the truth to Lord Brahma, I pray to you that you reveal that truth to me as well, so that I'm able to properly speak about you. But yet, please don't limit that to that only, because I would also like to talk about you as a devotee. Not just what is in the Vedas, not just knowledge in just, in terms of opulence, in terms of your strength, or, your beauty, or what you can do, but also the love for you, the love you have, the person Krishna. So when talking about Krishna, when hearing about Krishna, when listening about Krishna, remembering Krishna, or doing any service of Krishna, we are over and over and over and over again reminded through every single verse that, think of Krishna in a very, very personal way. We must not forget the opulence of Krishna, the greatness of Krishna, the absolute, enormity of what Krishna is. But at the same time, we mustn't forget ever that Krishna is the most personal of all of us. And, to a devotee, he can, just like with Sudama, he was washing, when Sudama went to Dwarika, Krishna was washing the feet of Sudama. And Krishna is so much in debt to all his pure devotees that he wants to do anything and everything for his devotees, whether it's, washing the feet of Sudama, taking care of Madhavendra Puri when he was ill, he would do anything just for his devotees. So that is the feeling which we must remember when we are talking about Krishna, and that is what Sukdev Goswami is praying to the Lord, that he's blessed with it. So, and then Sukdev Goswami also refers to how everything in this material universe is because of the Lord. And that's the last point he touches upon in this verse, that what has the Lord done for us? Okay. So that the Lord, he's, we wouldn't exist, nothing would exist in this universe or in this, whole creation if not for the Lord. So he comes as his first Purusha avatar. He comes as Karnadaksha Vishnu. And then he who lies on the causal ocean, and through every breath exhaling and inhaling from every single pore of his body, innumerable universes are created and annihilated with every breath cycle. And in each of these universes, the Lord further expands into the second Purusha Avatara and enters into each of these universes as Garbhodaksha Vishnu. So where he lies on the, right at the bottom of the space of that universe, and from his navel, the lotus flower grows, and on that lotus flower Lord Brahma is born in each universe, whether it's the Lord Brahma with one head or four heads like our Lord Brahma, or Lord Brahma with thousands and millions of heads, but that is where Lord Brahma is born. And then from Brahma the secondary creation starts. Now, the Lord creates the material elements, material things for the enjoyment of the jivas. These are the jivas who wanted to escape the spiritual world and wanted to lord themselves and wanted to be their own lords. So the Lord created the entire material creation only so that the jivas can enjoy. And with the 16 main elements of creation, so whether it's the Panchabhuta, air, water, fire, ether, what's the thing? Air, fire, earth, fire, air, water, and ether, the Panchabhutas, and obviously the Gyanendriyas, the Karmendriyas. So the main 16 elements that are needed for creation. So the Lord is so merciful that for the jiva to be able to sustain themselves in this material world, he creates, with these material elements, he creates everything around the jivas so that they are able to live themselves. They are able to live properly and happily in this material world. In whichever way, and it is not just giving objects or things to live in this material world. The Lord is so merciful that he does everything that is required for things to evolve and grow and live. And by that, what is meant is that, if we look at our own body, the Lord gives us this body, but we will never be able to properly understand the workings of the true human body. Even the greatest of doctors cannot understand the function of the soul, or how the heart beats, or how the digestive system works, how a baby grows within in the womb of a mother, or when someone is happy or someone is not happy, the hormones in what happens to the hormones in the body, so all of this, the beauty, the beautiful way, and Prabhupada mentions the word beautiful quite a few times, that the beautiful management of the workings of everything in this material world is controlled completely by the Lord. And this is something which needs to be spoken about the Lord when talking about the Lord, that the Lord not only gives us this material world, not only creates things with other material, arrangements and other material elements, objects, other jivas all around us, so that we are able to live in this material world, but he also ensures that he injects magic into everything. Because had it not been for the magic in every single thing in this material world, nothing really would work. So Prabhupada tells in the purport that even an atheist, even someone who does not believe in God, if he or she looks into anything randomly at any object, in the universe, in the material world, they would realize that even in the smallest of things, there is some kind of magic. Whether it's a small seed growing into a plant or flowering, the colors, the vibrant colors all around us, everything is injected with magic, and that magic comes from the Lord. So when we are talking of Sukadeva Goswami saying, "Oh Lord, please let me not forget what you have done for us." So yes, when I'm glorifying you, I talk about you. I talk about your greatness. I talk about the feelings. I talk about your love. But I mustn't also forget what you have done for us, because we are existing in this material world only because you have created this material world for us. And had it not been for the magic that you have given to us in this material world, nobody would be alive. Okay, so that is another thing that Sukadeva Goswami is praying, that please asking for the mercy of the Lord, so that he can talk about the Lord in such a way to Parikshit Maharaj, so that it has a twofold purpose. One, that it is accurate. It is based on the Vedas because it's the absolute true, and it is accurate, the information in terms of the information. But it also captures the greatness and what the Lord has also done for us. And it has the purpose of attracting the people who are listening about the Lord, attracting the people towards the Lord. So Sukadeva Goswami wants to talk correctly, accurately about the Lord, and also attract the people to the Lord, so they are able to go back to connect with the Lord again and go back to their original home, back to Godhead. So in every single verse that Sukadeva Goswami says when he is glorifying the Lord in his prayers to the Lord, before he actually starts answering Parikshit Maharaj's question, in every single verse, these are the things that Sukadeva Goswami constantly talks about: connection with the Lord, love for the God, love for the Lord, how great the Lord is, and as he said in the verse today, not forgetting what the Lord has done for us and what the Lord is doing for us every single second, so that we can exist in this world freely. Breathe, eat, whatever we are able to do. As the Paramatma, he is within us, and even moving our hands, had it not been for the Paramatma sanctioning it, we wouldn't be able to talk, not even be able to move our fingers or hand. So it is, we mustn't ever forget how much the Lord is doing for us every single second. And this is the core message that Sukadeva Goswami is trying to give in this verse, that talk about, oh God, please let me talk correctly about you, of your greatness, of your love, but also please let me not forget how much you have done for us. So I finish today's discussion with another pastime between Srila Prabhupada and little Saraswati. So Prabhupada gave Saraswati a little deity of Krishna, a small deity of Krishna, and he gives to Saraswati. And Saraswati, being only 3 years old, she was playing with babe Krishna for a while, and then she just left it and she went somewhere else, and Krishna was left abandoned. And the other devotees found the deity and, took it to Prabhupada and said, "Oh, Prabhupada, you've given this little girl a deity of Krishna. Look, she has abandoned, she's playing, she has forgotten, and, what if something had happened to the deity, etc., etc." So Prabhupada took that small Krishna deity and he kept it with him. And then Saraswati, baby Saraswati, little Saraswati, after a while remembered that, she had this beautiful, beautiful doll-like deity of Krishna. So she remembered, and she was looking for Krishna all over, shouting, crying out loud, "Where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? Where is my Krishna? I was playing with Krishna. Where is Krishna?" So the other devotees say, "Oh, we don't know. Go and ask Prabhupada." Saraswati rushes to Prabhupada, and Prabhupada was sitting, and then as soon as he saw Saraswati coming, he took the Krishna and he hid the little Krishna behind him. And then Saraswati just came to him, rushed him and said, "Where is Krishna? Where is Krishna?" And she started looking all around Prabhupada. And then she found Prabhupada hiding the Krishna behind him. And she just wanted to take it from Prabhupada's back. And then Prabhupada said, "What are you doing? What are you looking for?" And then the other devotees came, and then Saraswati said, "Look, Prabhupada's not giving me." So the other devotee said, What is he not giving you? What do you want?" And Saraswati said, "Oh, Prabhupada has Krishna. Prabhupada has Krishna. He's not giving me Krishna. I want Krishna, and Prabhupada has Krishna." And this is what we need to remember. This is what we need to remember, what we are being told about Sukdev Goswami. Sukdev Goswami has the knowledge of Krishna. And that is what he wants to give to Maharaj Parikshit. And that is what Maharaj Parikshit has understood, that Sukdev Goswami is a true devotee and he can give him Krishna. So very rightfully, Maharaj Parikshit asked Sukdev Goswami the questions, and very rightfully, we are being told in Prabhupada's purports over and over again how a true devotee Sukdev Goswami was, and how much of a right person he was to be able to give Krishna to Maharaj Parikshit. So with that, I conclude our discussion today. If there's any questions, please do let me know. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much for today's session. We have exhausted our time, but are there any questions or comments from the group?
Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna.
I accept my humble obeisances, O Guru Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Mataji. As usual, very nice session, very nicely explained, and about Srila Prabhupada's Leela. Srila Prabhupada, he never takes credit, as you said. When he inaugurated the temple of Mayapur, first temple of Mayapur, so he invited all his disciples from around the world. All of them came. And after the ceremonies was held and everything, he told them, he said, he used to say, "You American boys and girls." That was his words, always saying, "You American boys and girls." So he said, "You American boys and girls, I haven't done anything," because everybody was thanking him, giving him the credit. He said, "No, I haven't done anything. Before coming to me, you already had the sukriti. You already had this good karma that you have brought with you. I was just a medium." So humbly, he didn't want, and see how big the project was from around the world. All his devotees went there. So he didn't want to take the credit. So we see similarly, when Bhishma Dev was about to die, he was on the bed of arrows. So everybody is trying to pacify Yudhishthir Maharaj. Even Krishna was pacifying, but he was not pacified. But actually, Krishna wanted to glorify Bhishmadev, who was one of his great devotees. So he's sitting as Paramatma in the heart of Yudhishthir. He was Yudhishthir telling him not to accept anybody's advice, not to accept anybody's. Finally, Krishna says, let's go to Bhishmadev. So he wanted to glorify his great devotee. So when Bhishmadev spoke, then Yudhishthir was pacified. So many great sages, and Krishna himself, but he was not pacified. So we see that how they give glories. Like you said, Krishna gave glory, the credit to Arjuna on the battlefield. So similarly, we see again the Lord himself, how he is eager to get the association of his devotees, how he's eager. Like we have Shakshi Gopal. So Shakshi Gopal did it. Why did Shakshi Gopal walk behind the Brahmana? Why did it together in front of the Brahmana? It's just because Shakshi Gopal wanted to get the dust from the lotus feet of his devotee who was walking behind the Brahmana. So, and then he said, and the Brahmana said, how would I know if you are following me? He said, you will hear my ankle bell. And if you turn around to look at me, I will stop walking. So at some point, he stopped, the Brahmana couldn't hear the ankle bell. So he turned around and Shakshi Gopal stood there, became like a deity himself outside of the town where the Brahmana lived. So very, very nice class. And thank you so much, Mataji. I enjoyed your class so nicely. Hare Krishna, everyone.
Thank you so much, Mataji, for the points. Very, very valid and lovely points. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Any other comments or questions? If there are no more questions or comments, can I request Arya Govind Prabhu, are you able to close the session for today? Hare Krishna. Maybe it's not possible for him. I can close the session. Hare Krishna, everybody. Thank you so much for joining in. Let us all chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to glorify Panchali Mataji, who's in India, joining us from there very late. She's looking after her parents there. So let us pray that they get well soon, and let us chant the Maha Mantra for Panchali Mataji. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindu Bhavayeva
Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Ananda Koti Vaishnav Vrind ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Her Grace Panchali Mataji ki jai. Thank you everyone. Thank you everyone for joining the class today. So nice class. This we couldn't miss. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Hare Krishna.